At the heart of my book, None Greater, The Undomesticated Attributes of God, is a simple but profound claim. And it's one that is not original to myself. Actually, it goes back to the medieval thinker and theologian Anselm. Anselm asked a crucial question: is God the perfect being? And he had a way of putting this. He asked, is God someone than whom none greater can be conceived? Well, Anselm, of course, answered yes, but he said, if the answer is yes, if this is true, then what does that mean for everything else we think about God? What does that mean for the rest of the doctrine of God? And he argued that, well, this fundamental claim, it must set the trajectory for everything else that follows. In other words, there must be perfect making attributes that are then true of God. Well, what might those be? Well, there's many, but maybe one of the first ones we should mention is God's infinitude, that God is infinite in nature. As one who's not finite like we are, he's a different type of being altogether, and that means he is immeasurable. He's not bound by any type of limitations like a finite individual like you or me. Instead, he is infinite in his essence. Well, if this is true, then that means that any type of limitation has to be excluded, because any type of limitation, like God changing or God being made up of parts or God being bound by time or space, any type of limitations like these, well, they would dispel and forfeit and compromise the infinite nature of God, and God would no longer be the perfect being. Well, in my book, None Greater, I flesh out the implications by looking to Scripture to understand, well, what perfect making attributes must follow if Anselm is right, that God is someone than whom none greater can be conceived.